trafficking affects nearly 30 million people, and it's only a growing concern. Globally, it affects those who are more at risk, and we need to help protect individuals from being forced into trafficking because it ruins lives and has lasting effects throughout their entire life. Human trafficking is abducting, harboring, or transporting individuals throughout countries for exploitation, labor, and sex trade, usually without their knowledge or for money. And they make over $150 billion per year, and a majority of the victims are children or females. It affects 20 to 37 million individuals worldwide and is the third most profitable crime organization. These images depict the pain and the trauma and the fears that the victims face. I included one that shows them paying for a child in the top, and others that show the cries for help that these women have when they're in these terrible situations. And a lot of the victims are children, so I wanted to depict that because I think that that's really concerning that most victims are children that are abducted and sold for sex, labor, into militaries, all kinds of horrible things. There's multiple types of human trafficking. So for instance, there's forced labor, which is being forced to work for little compensation and usually for under threat or manipulation and punishment. For example, they do construction, factory work, hospitality, fishing, they work in nail salons, all types of things. The next is sexual exploitation, which is usually through force to take in sexual activity like prostitution, in brothels, and pornography. Organ harvesting is one that a lot of people don't know about. It's removing parts of the body without their knowledge through abduction and selling it in an illegal trade. So a lot of the times they sell it on like the dark web and in black markets and things like that. Child labor and soldiers. A lot of children are forced to work for no compensation from the ages of 4 to 18, and they're also forced to be in military and frontline combat, killing people, doing horrible, horrific acts that cause PTSD and lasting mental effects. Another is slavery, where they're forced to work in households and have to endure sexual and physical abuse with no pay. And the last one is forced marriage, which is being forced to marry through physical, sexual, and psychological abuse, usually children to older men, but a lot of the times it's women to older men or just like terrible situations in other countries a lot of the time, but it also happens in America. It happens all over the world. A lot of the causes for human trafficking is poverty, substance abuse, runaways, and homelessness, mental health disorders, lack of education. These people are more susceptible and at risk, and they're easily persuaded and easier to find, and just a lot of the time they want money. They don't know any better. They're more, if they went missing, their families wouldn't know, so they prey on these women, these children, these men in these compromising situations because they know that it'll be easier for them to get away with it. And the effects of human trafficking are mental health declines, trauma like PTSD, extreme dehydration because they don't take care of these people. They no longer have the support of their family and friends. Their education is either stopped or they just don't get to receive one at all. Their physical health declines. They have no more social interactions. They're not allowed to go outside. They're not allowed to make friends. They're not allowed anything because if they do, they're at risk of being found or contacting authorities or letting other people know of their situation. Many of them turn to suicide because their mental health is at such a rapid decline after that they feel that they have no other way out. And cognitive impairment. A lot of human trafficking victims are women and children mainly, but there is a percentage of men, and in the sex trafficking part, it's mainly women, but in the labor, it's men, and everyone's at risk. Like so many people are targeted and taken into it without their knowledge, and you can even we could be at risk, and it's something that the law enforcement and things like that need to take more seriously and make more aware to our population, because I feel not a lot of people know what human trafficking entails and all the different kinds it can have and what to look for and how to keep yourself safe. And I feel that we should be concerned and fearful because I don't see a huge conversation on human trafficking, and I don't feel many people know about how difficult and hard it can be in your life when that happens and what can happen to you, like mentally, physically, and just like the it it like it can deteriorate a person and make them no longer themselves at all, and it's just a terrible like circumstance that happens so often. Yeah, that's it.
I thought it was